Good morning on this Sunday, May 1st, first day of May, and the Broad Street Run coming down. Wanted to get the stream started up. I'm here at City Hall, as you can see, and the first runner should be expected to come around the corner maybe 20 minutes in or so, depending on how fast they are today. The quickest time being 46 minutes. So I decided to start up the stream a few minutes early, hoping that the battery stays on long enough to see everything. I was going to go south of City Hall. Decided to come over to the north side. And thank you for anyone coming in to watch the Broad Street Run. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Pretty quiet. It's on the early side. And of course, last year was the first year that they started running up again after the pandemic. I guess they did do it last year, right? 2020, they did not do it. So now 2022, I know a whole bunch of people got their bibs and their swag bags and everything else. So they should be coming down the quickest runners in a little bit, assuming they started right on time. So City Hall is halfway-ish point, I believe. Then they go all the way down to Packard by the sports complex and everything else. So heavy police presence and everything else for this. Of course, remembering the Boston bomber and everything else at Lens Crafters. That's where the bomb went off. Little conspiracy story behind that. Lens Crafters, changing your perspective every day. And what does it mean? Should we go through here? Can we, oh, you want me to stand here? I'm so used to standing on the sidelines, so we'll get a straight shot up Broad Street, so we'll be able to see for a long ways. The first runner is coming down the pike. Straight up the way, Temple University, and I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but all the way up there you can start to see these like light poles or decorative poles, and that sort of begins the like entryway towards Temple University, as I recall. I kind of think. Police headquarters at 400 North Broad. I used to work at 401 North Broad a long time ago, but they changed their office and moved around to Spring Garden Street. North American Publishing Company. It used to be the Enquirer building, the police headquarters, or at least precinct 6 and 9, but I think they called it the headquarters. Technically, they're not very effective. I've tried to go in there to see if I could get something done, and they just pass the buck the whole time. So, no offense, but so I'll be out here with my camera instead. That's a joke. It's a little joke. So anyway, I can see some bright headlights way, way, way up there. Kind of curious who's in the front runner group. I don't know the names of anyone running at the front of the race today. I just wanted to come out to give it some coverage. If I don't see any comments or anything, it's because of the glare. The sun is kind of like southeast-ish off my right side here. So police on bikes. I usually stand around Walnut and Locust anytime that I've come out before, but today we decided with this whole shindig, we'll come out and do this and stand front and center and stuff. So they'll come running down, go around City Hall to the west. They go over like another block or two, like, I don't know if it's 16th or it's kind of weird because City Hall, it might be 16th and they run up and then come back in through Market, and then circling the other part of City Hall, and then we'll head on down Broad Street south of that. And then, of course, runners, they'll run on both sides of Broad Street, and then sort of crunch themselves to get around the circle, and then spread out again on the other side of City Hall. I'll kind of show you. There's City Hall. Like normally on a normal day, those gates will be open and you can walk straight through. On work days, I don't know if they do it on weekends. Yeah, and Sundays they may not open up. So that's City Hall, and I'm standing on the north side facing north. pretty quiet. I did expect more crowds, to be honest. I don't know if they'll show up later for the, all the runners who sort of like are way back there in line. So there's always some interesting folks running and they'll wear costumes and stuff like that. I have no idea what time it is, but my phone is covering up the clock part. Like I don't know how to access the clock. So we have a slow beginner car here. It's nice and warm in the sun. I almost wore my lighter jacket, but I wasn't sure. It said 48 degrees when I left this morning, so we're in that time period of it's chilly in the morning. Actually, it's been really mild, and then we had like a cold front come through, and all of a sudden it was like back to winter time, and now it's warm right now. So, okay. Plus we talk about the soda. Okay. So a guy carrying a 20-ounce bottle of, is it Dr. Pepper? Or I don't know. Of course, soda is not the best beverage in the world, but I know people use it for a quick fix, a quick pick-me-up. High fructose corn syrup is a killer as far as I'm concerned. So hopefully no one's drinking too much of that. I don't know what it does in long term. The body doesn't recognize this rearranged molecular structure of high fructose corn syrup. Natural sugar it will recognize. And of course, Queen Elizabeth has corgis. This is a very royal situation going on here with, right, with the front runner. That's funny. You never know if you have the best DNA or not to win this race. So, of course, some people, well, we won't get into it because it dehumanizes people, but some people do believe that some people are higher performing for all kinds of reasons. There's puppet masters out there. There aren't. I don't like to say that because there's a lot of hard work put into things, and people have a propensity simply of where they St. Joe's. That's funny. So anyway, of course, in other, I'm not saying anything new here, but people grow up running all the time. They run to school. They run. This is like an old school idea. So, like if your normal mode of transportation is to run from point A to point B just to get things done, then you naturally will develop your running abilities and blah, blah, blah. But there's high training going on for all this other stuff. I guess some people use this race for, I guess it's a qualifying race. I'm not sure. I would guess so. It's a 10K. I know certain races are qualifiers so that you can get into bigger ones like New York City Marathon, which happened a few weeks ago, I think, and Boston and stuff like that. We can do more conspiracy with the Boston bombing and lens crafters where the bomb went off, changing your perspectives every day. And also a new control group for female prosthetics. So many men have had to live with prosthetics because of wartime or whatever, but big time amount of women wound up with prosthetics because of Boston Marathon. So then you get into conspiracy theories of, the big machine out there wanting to push their agenda, the robotic, or man versus machine, the old argument. So it'd be like that old debate. So anyway, so people who, are used to living a very healthy life, running, a certain amount of freedom and everything else, and then winding up with prosthetics and, nothing worse than not feeling in control and stuff like that. So anyway, here we go. Some escorts coming in. I don't know the exact time. I don't know watch anything. So, all this conspiracy stuff was fed to me after being terrorized in my apartment. So I just put it out there. Some people think it's poking the veil. I don't know what it is. So we'll just go with it. I have never run the 10K. I did run the ING. It used to be the rock and roll ING. They changed it, half marathon. I would have never been able to do a full marathon. It's funny. But I was able to do a 13-miler and the Odyssey, which I wouldn't recommend for a more serious, like for traditional runners. just because they have you can stop off and do obstacle courses. It's kind of like in Fairyland, it's that kind of thing. I mean, it's okay if you want to have fun or whatever, but so here we go, the excitement is building because we want to see like how fast are these guys. Perfect weather this morning. Right, we could have I heard that a couple degrees cooler would have been primo, but we'll go with it. There we go, police escorts coming in. Oh, right. I always forget about that. So we have the wheelchair racer guys first. I was here for the Philadelphia Marathon. I moved back to Philly in May of last year, at the end of May, so technically June. And they had the Philadelphia Marathon, and they came right by Rittenhouse Square. So I don't know if that's always been the route, is the thing. They change the routes occasionally for all kinds of reasons. So here we go, yay! And I would clap, have some bells, yay, give this guy some love. Of course, it's really quiet this morning. That's the downside of being at the front of the race. Then of course, all the emotion comes bubbling up, when there's some love down there, great. So tons of people will come flooding through here if they have normal attendance this year. And it's just like all the energy gets like all bubbled up, and then gets all what have you. So holding on to this battery life here. We weren't sure when to start up. So more crowds coming in here. Do you want me to go over there? I'll stay here. I know you always wonder how newscasters hear everything and their perfect diction. You know what I mean? That stuff comes funneling right from the sky. No way did they just formulate the best grammatically correct sentence anyone's ever heard in their lives. Writers have to sit there and struggle and edit and everything. So that's the way it is these days. How long has it been that way? So they're just incredibly high intel people you would see on major news on high, not necessarily local is high enough. You get up to MSNBC or CNN. Smirkanish, there you go. There's he knows how it's done. So looking dapper on this Sunday morning. Gave me dapper. I am a highly skilled writer, actually. So, even if someone sent me a vocabulary word, which can be sent through the sky, I usually know what it means. They just did it. I usually know what it means. So, welcome to Philadelphia. Welks PTSD, puppet land of America, close enough to DC and New York City and the terrorism of everything. So everything's got a little bit of, I got no strings to tie me down. So this is what happens to newscasters, and it's that's weird. She just spewed out an epithet in some other tongue, and she has no idea how it happened. Every once in a while, something like that will go viral, because someone is desperate to show people what's going on in America. So, was there only one wheelchair racer? I guess the Broad Street Run, it's one of these ones with the pandemic and everything, attendance might have dropped back. Seemingly only one wheelchair racer. I can hear bells way in the distance, so way up there, probably around Spring Garden or so. We see more lights. All of that. Do you want me to walk up? Okay. Of course, Payne's Plaza over there. A lot of pain going on in the city. It's a city building, so you get it. It's some sort of old school, almost folklorish way of reading the world. And the Masons across the way. So I don't know how to get rid of it. I'd rather be in California surfboarding and not having to read the city in the way that it was taught. Hanging out. Corgi with a soda hanging out here. I wish, right, Pico would have a clock, but I can't see Pico from here. Helicopter over Hahnemann, the old Hahnemann, so, and the Vine Street Expressway. Thank you. Oh, should I go over here or should I? I actually do have strings that tie me down. So. I'll be the first to admit it. A lot of people in the city are somewhat puppeted. We just sort of have to put up with it. It could be protective, whatever. We have Dick's Sporting Goods over here. Gotta love it. Over in the chair next to and someone in a wheelchair. Yesterday, I was walking around a couple blocks, well, a block or two, I guess, right, east of Rittenhouse Square where the farmer's market was. And this woman was carrying around a big, gigantic cactus that was just like, it looked like a cucumber that was like, almost 2.5 feet high, right? So, and it was a cactus. So I finally realized it was like a joke, like big prick or something like that. I was like, oh my gosh, that's what she meant to say. So that would be, here we go. Oh, here's another wheelchair racer. Sorry about that. I don't know how they handle the start up there. So here comes another wheelchair racer. And surprisingly, there will be actually regular runners not too far behind. So that's what I feel like, because I can see so many lights up there. So another wheelchair racer, see if they give him some love. Here's some bells we got. Yay! Sort of like the Olympics, like on a ski slope when you hear, with the bells, yay! So I'll do a little yay. I can't really clap, it'll shake the whole phone. We got here we go. Yay! So hard to do. It's downhill on the backside. So on the other side of City Hall, there's a lot of more of a, I think, a downhill-ish decline. So hopefully that's the hope one can look for is the backside of City Hall. It seems like it goes down more than up. All right, here we are watching the Broad Street Run. Thank you so much, anyone who's joining me. If I don't see your chats, sorry about that. It's because of the glare, and sometimes I don't see them because they come in very quick. Like, it'll come in very quickly. I know there's like, only 1 or 2 people, but it'll fade out on my phone. So, waiting for the first front runners. We had 2 wheelchair racers come by. And we'll kind of come on in. So we'll come on in and see if we can get find the front runners. So very quiet. It's a lot quieter than I thought it would be. This is the early end of the race, so some people kind of come up to the gates later in the race. And then it's also technically, only 2 years after I guess they started up last year. This will be the second year after the pandemic. So that might have affected attendance. So the Masons over there with their flags on the balcony. That's the Masonic Temple. A church over there. Here we go. And of course, Trader Joe's is on the other side of the church. A brand new location for Trader Joe's. Here comes the first runners. I know the fastest time was 46 minutes for 10 miles. That is incredibly good. Yay! So salmon and blue, and then neon yellow. Woo! So more crowds down here by City Hall. Here comes more front runners. I can't remember. Right. kind of remember Mint shoes from a previous race. I'm trying to remember, did they have a later run last year? Why am I feeling like I saw, anyway, we won't get into it. I kind of remember watching one of the races, and Mint shoes seems like a familiar, I don't know if he would run the same race again, but so it'll be a while for the next corrals of runners to come through. They're not as fast as the premier elite front runners of the Broad Street Run 10K. Hopefully it came in. I didn't raise up my phone too much. Counterterrorism coming in. S113, so S113, 205,099. That's what I had to learn. So SWAT team, and SWAT spelled backwards is TAWS, TAWS, which was a framing shop that used to be in the Versailles building across from Klein Spectre on 16th and Locust. And then it moved around. It's a couple of blocks south, and it's like formerly known as TAWS, almost like Prince, formerly known as Prince. He passed away on Queen Elizabeth's birthday. How crazy is that? And who died on George Floyd trial, which is also Minneapolis, but Prince Philip, Queen Elizabeth's husband. A whole bunch of conspiracy to go along with royalty and Minneapolis, Paisley Park, everything else. All right, yay, woo! You know, talk about the British. It's probably German or something. I'm just kidding. So more front runners, three birds coming over. Another one struggling. All right, yay! We'll just, you know, there's probably a runner in here who I might know from the gay running group, front runner group, but they would be a little bit further back. There's one or two, oh, On might be in here, forgot. So Dan Anders' partner, On, might be in here, I don't know. On Don, I kind of forget how to pronounce his last name, Filipino, and occasionally he would run with the front runners. Of course, then there's, LeVar Curley, I don't know if he came up today. Wheelchair racer here. All right, yay, woo! Okay. All downhill on the backside. Let's see if we, hey, I don't know, did LeVar come up? Oh, we got, it's not, it looks like Zuzu-ish, but it's not, but. All right, he's got some love there with the family, or family, friends, what have you. Right. So here comes a pacer-ish car. I actually don't know what they do. So more runners. All right, yay! Ladies! Right. So that's pretty fast. Keeping up with the, you know, high-end males here. That looks like Adam the guitarist. So, reminds me of a friend of mine named Adam Flint playing the guitar. I don't know why he's racing today. Right? They did it. All right, yay! So more runners in-house. Should I stay here for the... That would be like a healthy Andrew Dean. That's so funny to see like people's healthier versions of themselves. So, yay! All right. So the few people I mentioned before, they would be kind of coming up. There's also Marty. I think he'd be further back. We won't get into it. So anyway, it depends on, you know, where they placed or what have you. So here we go, yay! So there are only just the one woman. So the one woman in the front, I know she got to start at the front, in the front corral, but still able to upkeep here. Here comes some ladies here. Give the ladies some love. Donate for the ladies. Women tend to not have as much disposable income. It's just a fact of life. We always need our sugar daddies. So, all right, yay. Without dads, you know, and, you know, I don't want to get into a whole feminist, sexist conversation, but technically we still need the men in the house to help support a little here and there. They tend to have more money in general. So, it's just a fact. Women struggle a lot. if they were on their own their entire lives. So here we go. All right. I'll almost be Tony if he girl in the house. Almost be Tony if he shaved his head, but everybody's older now, the people I knew, so them getting around here in a good time might be a little bit of a struggle. What's up? Yeah. Okay. Okay, more coming through. All right, another lady. Yay! Yay! We're all for it. No offense to the men, but the women could use a lot of, love. And so that's, a lot of hard work. So, all right, yay! It's not Navy, is it? He reminds me of the Navy guy. So, reminds me of Lico. So, all right, woo! All right. Our tall guy in the house. The tall ones over here. You tall. All right, woo! There you go, coming around. So.
No!
Let's
go, Daniel!
Got some love for this guy. And the infection, right? The contagious positivity. Like, some people have that effect on people. You're like, you can't help but smile because they have an energy. I don't know what it is. So, okay. So more of the runners coming through. I'm kind of curious if I will see anyone. On would have come through by now. Okay, is he running?
I know.
So we have one guy on the pole over here, trying to make it seem like we have more crowds than we do. Although it's pretty crowded that way, so I'll do a quick shot that way. All right, here we go. All right, yay, yay! She can hear. So helicopter coming over the convention center. Right, he looks like this thing. Right, got it. Right, I've seen him around. That's like Q Trust. He reminds me of the guy who worked for Q Trust.
I'm Richard. Nice to meet you.
I mean, it's not 45 yet.
All right, yay! Oh gosh, I can't stand it. You want? That would be like Dale trying to run it here in the feed. They got signage and everything. So we're looking for someone. All right. Should we stay?
It does.
So we'll just hang out for the beginnings of the 10K Broad Street Independence Blue Cross run until the battery runs out. So I started a little bit early. I wasn't sure like how quickly everyone would get down here. Particularly with, I forgot about the wheelchair races, to be honest.
You guys go to the bakery?
And I just knew that the fastest time was 46 minutes for the whole thing. So I was like, well, halfway point would be about 20 minutes would be a good time. Right. Here comes some more people, and all of a sudden, assuming the attendance is like it used to be, all of a sudden it'll be packed. Like in the past, it would be like totally packed. Just hordes, of people running on both sides. Got to spit it. So, all right, yay! Oh, I got it.
I know, but it's like professional.
All right. That's like dynamic. Used to be so fun. That's like. That's like state penitentiary, Eastern State. Here we go. Right. All right. Yay. I mean, once you start, it's hard to stick with, say you came with a group, it's hard to stay together. Oftentimes, at some point, people split off just because of their own, pace and everything like that. So we will keep it going, hoping I'm hoping it gets really packed, Of course, at the finish line, I don't know, it'll, probably tons of people down there waiting. I'm wondering how close they already finished. Also, wondering if the fastest runners have already made it. Right, he's Steve Elkin-ish.
There's so many double.
So, just like that. So here we go. Barbershop. Barbershop pole, Shelson collected. Boston in the house. Still looking just to see if there's anyone from the front runners day running group, but I don't see anyone yet who I recognize. But similar people who look similar. So. We won't get into it though. Okay. So it'll start getting more and more crowded. Here they come. A lot of men, right? So it's amazing. Like, technically, I mean, finances do come into it. It does cost money to run. You buy it. They would say it's one of the cheaper sports, but if you're a serious runner, all right, hey! So our motivator in the house here. So you have to buy shoes, and then of course, if you run a lot, you wear them out very quickly. So you have to keep buying shoes. And then outfits that feel good to run in. So that's a whole challenge in and of itself. Just because how you get that short thing that goes all up your crawl and everything. And then your thighs rub together and all that. That's like a normal thing. So. I think it's still on the quiet side. Kind of curious what it looked like last year. So this is a group here with the orange and right. So I'm gonna say. So I'm looking for a few people just in case they show up from the front runners. That would be right. He's trying to look like Steve here. It's not him. So I'm looking for, On would have already come by, I think, normally, in a normal state of affairs. LeVar Curley would have already come by, I think, because they usually place like up in front. Marty Mastowitz, Jeff Berger, Tony Fardella. Is he racing today? All right, hey. And Kevin Coolwine, or Coolwayne. I don't know if he pronounces it Coolwine or Coolwayne. He's like a Kelsey Grammer of the group. Tough salad, scrambled eggs. Yeah. So he actually was really good with grammar. He liked to talk about linguistics, like glottal. What is it, the glottal stop and the guttural something or other. Right. And Mike Zuzu, of course. I don't know if he's in here. He stopped running for a while to take yoga. practice yoga, and he was kind of showing how easy it was for him to kind of develop. He like joined up with a technically yoga. In my opinion, it shouldn't be competitive, but they started adding it to the Olympics and competitive type things. So he joined up with this like offshoot competitive group and showed that he could do what was it? Standing. It's a standing pose. Um, Knee to nose, standing, anyway, it's a whole thing where you kind of lift your leg, grab your toes with your peace fingers, knee to nose situation. So, all right, here, yay, some seemingly, LGBT-ish, right, and it's interesting because walking around the city a lot, like you'll see people who are running all the time. Every once in a while, you'll see someone and be like, "Oh my gosh, I pass her all the time," on the Riverwalk or down by Pet House Square. All right, yay, ladies in the house, ladies. Okay. Right, it is a lot. It's not as crowded as it has been. It's in the past. It's been so crowded that it's just like the entire both sides of Broad Street would be jam packed. Right, like you totally could barely move. It's been a long time since I've been out to see it. So. Okay. Okay. So here, standing at on the median strip or whatever you call it, right around the Masonic Temple, City Hall, Payne's Plaza, Municipal Services Building Concourse, McDonald's used to be on the corner down there. They got rid of all the Center City McDonald's. I don't know if they'll ever come back. I think it's a movement for better food. Superman in the house. So there used to be a drive-through McDonald's all the way down on Broad Street near Sprouts, where Sprouts is now, an organic supermarket. There used to be a McDonald's down there in one city. Used to be at the bottom here, for years there was a McDonald's there. And then of course on Walnut Street near Rittenhouse, there was a McDonald's next to Doc Martens. There used to be a Vans off the wall there. But all the McDonald's in Center City, gone. So kind of curious what the dealio is with that. Trying to get people to better food in general, maybe, through the Constitution State. The tax on the sodas and everything. All right. Oh, she's got the. Oh, do they go? Right, they go all the way down. All the way down. Okay. So more people here. A Broad Street Run shirt. Someone who looked like he was on his phone for a second. And this will just keep going on and on and on. All right, we'll kind of head on this way. And kind of walk along with the.
Yeah, she's happy.
So the battery's still on. And I'll try to catch it on this side. It'll get more and more crowded. Kind of. I still think it's on the light side. And we are walking to the other side of Broad Street to catch them on the flip side. So I want to see if there's more. Sorry, I got a little bit of pressure in my back of my neck and head. Ugh. gotta pop my ears here. It's almost like an altitude feeling. So I'm kind of curious how many EMFs are going on here. I'll go this way because I don't want my head to hurt. So I'm gonna go this way. A highly sensitive person in the house. So we'll go this way instead. Let me go around here. So thank you so much for coming in, anyone who's joining. I'm covering the race here for Philadelphia, the Broad Street Run 10 miler. Feel better here. So I feel better on this side. A lot of pressure going on at City Hall, I think. Whoa. So more crowds. So the regular runners coming through. Most of the quicker, higher qualifying. I don't know what's going on over there, but it's like high altitude. So I always, sometimes I live in a little fear because of everything that happened to me back in 2011, and knowing that a couple of people who are related to my stepfamily passed away of aneurysms and stuff like that up by City Hall, up through my neck, which is, I don't know what it is. You're live. Okay. All right, sorry about that. My phone went out. When I went towards City Hall, my phone disconnected. We're back on live. Okay. And so I'm kind of forced to go this way. And technically the runners are not running through here, right? They're around there. So this is interesting to me. Like, why would they be running? They don't know they're going. So my phone went out by City Hall. Also, my neck and head got really pressure filled. And we're back on live. So we either, I don't know what it is with the connection, reconnection, either jammers or what have you, but I did get a lot of head pressure by City Hall. Like actual physical, like discomfort, like enough for me to be like, I don't want to walk into the force field of death at City Hall. So I don't know why that is. I don't know what's going on. But little new development during the Broad Street Run. This is why runners are brought this way, maybe. So it's safer to go way this way. Trust me on that one. I'm glad they brought them. I guess it's normal they bring them all the way over this far. So there's a reason. I don't know what that is, but no thank you. Staying alive. Thank you so much. So that's the name of the game for Sharon, staying alive. I don't know what it is. Don't want to get into a whole conspiracy talk because I was living my life pretty happily without thinking about conspiracies that much in the past. I didn't think about them at all. I was trying to find like healthy things to do, stuff like that. Now I'm conspiracy ridden. So we'll get a shot this way, just because it's a pretty awesome shot. Here come the crowds. This is the larger population of runners coming in now. Hopefully the battery will stick with it. So come here. So I'm not sure. The battery could go out just because it only lasts so long. I have my phone charger in, but even still, it only lasts so long. So because I wanted to get the front runners, I did spend a lot of time in the beginning trying to make sure we got the first runners to come in. But we'll see. Hopefully we'll get around the corner here. I don't know what's going on. Does he know what it is? So... let's see. We'll head on this way. Harry Styles. And technically, I'm stuck here. I can't go fast. So I'm not on Broad Street Run, or I'm not on Broad Street right now. I am over here on 16th, right, or 15th, sorry, 16th. So we'll get some shots of runners coming by. All right, way to go. Halfway-ish, I guess. They consider City Hall halfway-ish. I guess you can just do that. Like you know, I'm more of a waiter on the. Here, I'll go down here. We have a lot of stalkers in the house. Or they can, so we'll go over here. All right, so we'll just do it. We're not on Broad Street right now. I was on Broad Street earlier by the Masonic Temple. I was gonna cross through City Hall, like in front, but I felt a lot of pressure up here, over there, better here. So, So anyway, lots of runners. Happy to be here, I'm sure, especially with the pandemic and everything else. Okay, so keep on and roll on. So we'll hang out here and catch the runners on the 16th Street. They have to divert off, come all the way around, and get back on the Broad Street on the flip side. And this is halfway-ish point. Everybody looks pretty good. So everybody's looking healthy. It's perfect temperatures for this kind of thing, especially in the shade. So it feels a little better. These are the crowds that I remember. In the past, I might have like met up and kind of run into the race after it got to the more crowded part. In the beginning, it can be kind of just trickle in with all the front runners, and then everybody else is like they start X amount of minutes behind the front runners and everything else. So technically, they wait like 5 minutes, and like it's a 5-minute corral release or something like that. So here we go. On the flip side, it's all down-ish after the others on the south side of Broad, I think. Like I kind of remember the everything like down slopes on the other side for the most part. So it's a slightly easier run, I believe. But that's the way it looked when I looked down the street. I was on, when I first came in, not live streaming. I was walking around first with my backpack cam, and it looked like a slight decline all the way down to the finish after City Hall. So the harder part, I think, is the first part of the course. So that's a good thing. So Achilles over here, thank you so much. So in the house, can you believe and so many people all congregated together, promoting health, staying healthy, strong, all of that stuff. Technically, a lot of discipline. Keeping it, to keep going. You have to get out there and run, and it keeps the mind busy, keeps the body busy. And busy is kind of a minimal word. I don't like to say that. I want to say like part of life is actually staying in motion, and it's part of living. So to be able to incorporate it into your daily, if not like every other day lifestyle, it's a good thing to do that. Should we? So someone in the house reminds me of. I saw this guy not too long ago. It might not be the same guy, but he kind of looks like Army Navy game-ish. So, the thing is, I'll tell my story again. I was standing over by the Masonic Temple. I started to walk through City Hall, like through the normal like patio part where the fountains are. All of a sudden, I felt enormous pressure come up through my head on City Hall. It felt like I was at high altitude or something, or like bends. So because I had something incredibly, incredibly extraordinary and terrible happen that started in 2011, and I don't mean to pump myself up. I don't think I'm special at all. I have no idea why this went on. But I worry about someone trying to induce like an aneurysm or something. There are two people related to my stepfamily who passed away of aneurysms. One is a brother-in-law, and one is a father, their father, my step-sibling's father, and then a brother-in-law of my step-brother. So I actually do worry about things like, what is it? You know, what is it? And then I had 3 passings that began Herb. So I had 3 passings that began in July of 2020, and then December of 2020, and then in fact, yesterday would have been the year anniversary for my aunt.